What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. You know, guys, people do things as they age or they hit the wall. And I want to talk about this whole situation with Sheree Whitfield. She was married to Bob Whitfield, former offensive tackle for the Atlanta Falcons. He is from the Los Angeles area. I believe he's from Compton, but he went to Stanford University. So he's a very, very smart man because you can't get into Stanford unless you're very bright. So he went to Stanford. He met Sheree in her prime. They got married. And as we know, they divorced. And Sheree is very, very rude. She is the B word, in my opinion. For those of you who watch her, she acts like one. So I'll just say that. She is rude as hell. She has gotten into the struggle reality show genre, which is what people do when they have no talent, all right? But anyways, she ended up with this guy, Tyrone Gilliam. Now, Mr. Gilliam was in prison. Just like, some people. And it's interesting. You go from a guy in the NFL who went to Stanford. Not to say that Bob Whitfield was perfect, but the best that you can do is somebody that's currently in prison. Which is already indicating that if you go from there to that guy, nobody of real status or class wants you. Whenever a woman has to deal with somebody who's currently incarcerated. Now, I do know that women love guys, some ladies that are incarcerated, especially for really violent crimes. But in the case of Tyrone Gilliam, it was not. It shows what her opportunity is, because most women would prefer to deal with somebody that can do something for them instead of waiting for somebody who's in prison. Well, Sheree did that. Couldn't hold it down for her husband, but she could hold it down for somebody who was convicted of fraud and scamming. Okay? And he promised to marry her once he got released. Unfortunately, he got out of prison. Things deteriorated. He broke up with her. Now, as this new struggle season of the Real Housewives of Atlanta is getting back, they're going to be together again, allegedly. Okay, and now this is from Media Takeout, and I've seen this in some other blogs, so they could be lying, but with this kind of stuff, this might be true. Well, how do we know this? Well, let me kind of explain why, and this is the reason why I tell a lot of you guys out there, okay, that usually when you break up with somebody, it hurts, but you'll see her opportunity the next guy that she dates. Who is the next guy that she dates and deals with? Very rarely, especially in our community. If you're a good guy, I'm not saying you're perfect, but if you're a good guy, stand-up guy with something to offer, not saying that you're perfect, typically the next guy that they date don't got nothing. Absolutely nothing. He has nothing. They'll go from the guy that's the doctor, thinking that things are going to be greener on the outside pastures, and then realize like, oh shit. Well, these other guys don't look at me as favorable as the last guy. Now, in case her network is great, it might be different. Usually it's not. And the other guys that might be in that genre might date her because her standards are going to be high. Like, oh, my last husband was a millionaire. I need to get another millionaire. Unfortunately, that millionaire has like a lot of opportunities, many that are greater than her. So then what happens is that confidence gets humbled. And then they go for the next best thing, which is a guy that they're physically attracted to that's really good in bed. Now, that guy will not be a builder. That guy will not be able to do any of those things that you were able to do. But she'll try to change him. I want to mold him into the man I want to be, like maybe his sexiness with my last husband's work ethic. And what you get is a laughing stock, usually, because the guy can't do anything. And the guy don't have the same values as you. So then there you go. She can't come back to you. Then the guy dumps her. Imagine that. A guy gets out of prison and dumps you. And now your self-esteem is really, really lowered. It's like getting with an ugly dude and getting dumped. Now, then what happens? Fundamentally, what happens? Well, what happens is they end up going back to the guy who was the scammer. Because they have now been out of the league. It's kind of like having, like Sugar Ray Robinson. As he got older, he didn't fight heavy. He didn't fight middleweight championships anymore. He was fighting in Mexico and in like smaller bouts because he couldn't get the bigger attractions anymore. He was already washed up. That's what some of these ladies are like now, because either their attitude has forced them, and especially in the reality shows. You look at it now. Look at all the entertainers. Erykah Badu, 50, still looks good. Who is she dealing with? Some 27-year-old guy. Okay? Keisha Cole, Nico Kale, Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson. Okay? Lonnie Love. You get my drift, right? There's not a lot of James Welsh. There's not a lot of ladies these guys can deal with. Okay? Not a lot. It's not a lot. And that's the situation with it. Like even LaShawn, that female rapper, she was like 50 with a white guy who's like 20 something. They clearly, they're not able to get the same type of guys. And really, it's not even about beauty, because they're fairly attractive. But the situation is that it's too much competition. These guys have too much to offer, so they're priced out of the market. Just like right now, if you try to buy real estate in any California city that's popping, LA, certain parts of Atlanta, God forbid you're in Brooklyn. Hey, you should have bought a house 5 years ago. Boston, God forbid, priced out of the market. Should have invested 10 years ago. You're starting all over again. Think the world is ready for you? Hey, things move on. When you want to get back in the dating world as a lady, and you still have those same, I'm going to get the high quality guys, then you're competing against 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds. Same thing for a guy. If you're a man and you want a good looking woman, especially if she's educated, she's doing very well, she's beautiful, guess what? She got options. It's competition. Sorry. It's the way life is. But with Sheree Whitfield's situation, like, it's a joke. Hello? What's going on here? A complete joke. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe at the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.